Awesome. Awesome. I am super excited as well. My name is Tamara Barber, and my profession, I am an orals coach also for Amazon Web Services. I'm the first and only orals coach there. And one of the things that I love to do is empower people to have them get just how much they matter. And in this capacity, my intention is that everyone gets that their voice matters, that what you have to say is important, and that your life is a story. And all of the challenges, all of the successes that you've had in your life, those are for sharing with the world. Why? Because there are so many people out there going through the same challenges as you have already overcame. So I believe that you should share that with the world, pay it forward, make it easier for people to overcome and get from their A, wherever they're at now, to their Z, their vision, and what they want to have accomplished in their lives. And that is what I love to do for people, opening them up to their greatness. And this has been an incredible journey with each of these speakers. And I want you to hear them. I want you to hear their message. I want you to take their golden nuggets and I want you to apply them to your life so that your life can be richer and more fulfilled. I am excited to get started.
True story. I was talking to a friend recently and he asked me to make a connection for him. And I'm like, absolutely, I'd love to do it because you guys would be great together. So let me get the number. It's in my phone and I will give it to you. Hold on. Where in the world is my phone? Hold on for a second, man. Let me call. Oh, wait. My phone. I'm talking on my phone. It's right in front of my face. Has that ever happened to you? You've been looking for something, only find out that it's right in front of your face? My name is Brian Scott. I am a father, a 20-year entrepreneur, a visionary, and my mission is to inspire and support people to find and live their purpose. And today I'd like to share with you how I found my purpose, which was a long journey. I've been searching for my purpose for a long time. I listened to a lot of motivators talk about finding their purpose, like Les Brown. His great story about how he wanted to have his mother live like the people whose houses she cleaned. And Lisa Nichols, who had to wrap her son in towels for 3 days because she didn't have diapers to pay, didn't have money to buy diapers. And she said, that's never going to happen again. Now, those stories are very inspiring to me, but they didn't really hit home because honestly, I was fortunate enough not to have those challenges. But there were 3 moments that were right in front of my face that pointed me to my purpose. But for several different reasons, I didn't see them. The first one happened when I was 11 years old, and it was brought on by my father. My pops is a true jack of all trades. He does, I mean, he's HVAC and plumbing and welding and general contractor. I mean, I could go on and on and on. But his true love was decorations. He would decorate for proms and balls and various parties. He loved making those things look good. I mean, he had like fountains and disco balls. It was awesome. And of course, when I got old enough, I become his trusted helper. So we would go up and down the highway in North Carolina doing various events. And during those trips, Pops would impart he would share stories with me. Stories about how he grew up as the youngest of 8 children in a 3-bedroom, 1-bathroom house and living in the Jim Crow South and his involvement in the civil rights movement. Great stories. But one thing he would always tell me was to be thankful for what I had because there were so many people who weren't as fortunate. That was his mantra. So on one of these occasions when we were out doing decorations, Pops tells me to go and look in a dumpster. Okay, that's odd, but All right, fine. Now, when I say dumpster, I'm talking about one of those huge dumpsters, like the 7 foot tall with the flap that you have to pull out to throw the trash on the inside and the door to pull out to put it into the side. So I'm pulling the door open and I'm looking into the dumpster, and I see this. I remember I'm 11 years old, so I see this gentleman in the dumpster, no bigger than me, and I look in again, and he's an elderly gentleman. I'm like, okay, this is odd. I take a deeper look, and he's digging through the trash for food. And one thing I remember very vividly about my family life is how our seniors were honored and taken care of. My mom took care of my grandmother, my dad and his siblings took care of their parents. So I'm really confused at this moment and had a lot of questions. Where is this man's family? Why can't someone take him somewhere to get help? And then what could I do? And that was the moment that birthed my purpose. Serving and uplifting people. That's my purpose. But at 11 years old, I was really too young to recognize it, or much less do something about it. Have you ever had a moment like that where something made such an impact on your life, but you couldn't quite grasp it? That was me in that moment. So I continued to look for the thing that was right in front of my face. My second moment was in 1985. USA for Africa. We are the world. That thing just started stirring something up in my spirit and my soul and my gut. I mean, it was emotional. I'm crying and snotting and just being inspired, not just because of the impact it had on the people's lives that were being served, but the service of the people coming together. I mean, think about, just that whole, all those different genres of music and the ages. I mean, the age differences from the Harry Belafontes all the way down to the Michael Jacksons. And it was just incredible to me. And I was like, yo, I want to do something like that. I want to bring people together to serve others on that kind of a huge scale. That was it for me. And then I got a visitor. Who is it? Self-doubt. What do you want? Who are you to do something like that? You are not Kenny Rogers or Harry Belafonte. You can't inspire massive action in people. Anybody feel me? When did your self-doubt cause you to run from that thing that you felt so strongly about? Once again, my why is my purpose right there in front of my face. But this time I don't move on it because of self-doubt. And instead of moving on it, I ran from it. I actually ran into things that had nothing to do with serving or uplifting people. My running ended up in substance abuse, which ironically brought me to my third in my face moment. Now, I spent 6 years in the substance abuse phase of my journey, and it was a very dark and low and lonely and dangerous place. One evening when I'm getting high, just call it what it is, I walk in front of a mirror and I catch myself in the mirror, and I'm looking eye to eye at myself in the mirror. And I hear a voice that says, "What are you doing?" That was a great question. Now, I wish I could say that was the end of the journey, that I quit and was done and never did it again, but it didn't work like that. I continued getting high. I got high several times after that. But the question was still in my mind, and it started to get louder. And the louder that it became, the less enjoyable the high was. And as the high became less enjoyable, it seemed to get it started getting stupid to get high because I wasn't having fun anymore. So eventually I was able to quit. But get this, I quit completely cold turkey. I mean, cold turkey, like quit, like we say in the hood. No rehab, no meetings, no relapses, no withdrawals. Absolutely unheard of. Damn near miraculous. And then guess what happens? Who is it? Self-doubt again. And I brought my cousin, Shane. Rather than looking at this as a massive, life-changing triumph, these rascals telling me that I should be ashamed. You can't tell anybody about that. That's embarrassing. I couldn't even acknowledge that miracle because I was ashamed. A few months later, I had my first doctor's appointment in 6 years. My doctor asked me, hey, I haven't seen you in a while. What you been up to? And I told her. She was like, oh, okay, well, we need to run some tests because that takes a big toll on your body. We run the tests come back completely clean. She's like, okay. So how long did you do this? I told her. And how did you stop? I told her. She said, wait a minute. Okay, so you did this for 6 years. You completely stopped cold turkey and you don't have any physical effects? That is amazing. That is miraculous. Like, that's like superhero stuff. I mean, if you can do that, you can do anything. I was like, whoa, she's actually right. That is pretty cool because I had done a lot of research on I'm a information junkie. So I'd actually done research on the effects of what I was doing on my body. And I had nothing. I'm like, wow, that's pretty amazing. That is pretty amazing. So at this point, I'm like, hey, I am actually capable of doing some pretty amazing stuff if I did that. So I'm kind of jacked. I'm like, yeah, I got a purpose. I know I can do it. I'm starting to believe I can do it. But now what? My motivators didn't tell me that part. Lisa didn't tell me that the next moves weren't going to be easy. She didn't tell me that the self-doubt and the shame and all their cousins were still going to be there. So what do? Here's what I did. The first thing I did was I changed my environment. One of my favorite quotes is that you are the average of the 5 people that you spend the most of your time with. So pause for a second and think about who you're spending your time with. Think about the dreams that they're pursuing. Think about, are they supporting yours? I realized I wasn't engaging with enough dreamers. So I had to go find some. And actually, they found me. As I started working in my purpose and living in my purpose, they found me. There's a 13th century Persian poet. His name is Rumi. He says, as you start to walk on the way appears. What appeared for me was a great service organization, and I joined it. And I was a little uncomfortable at first. It was kind of intimidating. But have you ever stepped into a room that was intimidating or uncomfortable only to find out that most of the people in the room are intimidated and uncomfortable also? They were doing great things, but as I started interacting with them, I found out they had low self-esteem. They had things in that they were scared to move on. They were like me. So soon I had a tribe who shared my passion, but also was working through the challenges of living in their purpose. And that was pretty awesome. The next thing I did was I started to acknowledge myself. Show of hands. Anybody out there have trouble accepting compliments? That is definitely me. Definitely me. People were genuinely impressed with some of the things that I had done. And I blew them off because I didn't think it or I was good enough. But after acknowledging the miracle of my cold turkey experience and I started listening to the accolades of my tribe. I'm like, hey, they're pretty impressed with me, and they're right. I did that thing. That's so I'm beginning to again get some confidence, build up some steam, working in my purpose. The last thing, I went to work. Being in the room, being in the right room, gave me a lot of opportunities to serve. Started out by serving meals at homeless shelters and breeding the kids and building playgrounds and Habitat for Humanity and all of that. But in 2005, I got like this really big shot. I was asked to be one of the leaders of an effort to feed 1 million people in 1 year. Not only did we achieve that goal, but today, 19 years later, as of this past January, this effort is still going strong and has fed over 5 million people. But here's the crazy thing. This is crazy, and I want you to really take this to heart. While I was on fire working on that dream, I mean, living my purpose, guess what I didn't hear? Self-doubt, shame, all their little friends, they were completely silent. Not a peep. No noise. Write this down, please. Living your purpose will silence the negative noise in your head. Living your purpose will silence the negative noise in your head. That's my story. What about you? What's burning inside of you? What is self-doubt and shame causing you not to act on? What lesson from your past has amazed everyone around you, but you haven't given yourself credit for? I want to challenge you to acknowledge and embrace the amazing person you are. Call forward that strength that the past has built within you. Get to work and silence that noise. You are here to do big, amazing things. And to find them, just look right in front of your face. Thank you.
All right. I love it. I love it. Come on off the mics. Let's give him some shout outs. Woo-hoo.
Yeah,
That was amazing. Yes, so amazing. I so love this message because when you're looking for purpose, oftentimes we look everywhere else. We search, we ask people, we wait, we try stuff only to find out that that thing is right in front of our face. We've been looking over it, we've been looking around it, and it's right there. It's right there. Such a powerful message. And Brian, I just want to acknowledge you for being vulnerable and sharing your story and putting shame in the back seat of your car and taking over the wheel, because there's so many people I know out in the world that are struggling with substance abuse or that have just stepped out of it and don't know what to do next. Mm-hmm. And so your message is so empowering, and it lets people know that it doesn't matter what you've been through. Matter of fact, what you've been through is leading you to your purpose. And now today you can go out and you can speak to so many people that are in the struggle, people that I can't speak to because I don't get it. I haven't lived it. I can give some wise words, but it's different. It hits different when you've actually lived it, and that person knows that you and I share something in common, and that message that you have, I have it too. And if you can create what you've created, there's hope and possibility for me too. So kudos to you, Brian. I am so excited for the impact that you're going to continue to make with your story. You should feel that. You should feel it. You should feel it. And so right now in this moment, what is your experience after delivering your keynote?
I'm actually kind of emotional at this point.
I see. That's why I asked.
um,
Yeah, put some words on it. Put some words on it.
well, it's reliving a lot of that. I feel, I've done this a few times, but today it just feels like, it started from when we were speaking our intention for the day, and I said that I wanted somebody to get a breakthrough from this, and there I go again. And I just feel that I don't know if anybody's even listening, but I just feel like I feel like I touched something, and maybe it touched something else in me that needs to be inspired. But I just feel a touch. I feel like something, someone, somewhere, like I said, me has been touched, and I
Yeah.
feel pretty amazing, honestly.
I always tell speakers, if when you deliver your keynote, if you're not moved,
Mhm.
you probably didn't move your audience. And so, in order to have that happen, you've got to be willing to put it all out there. And today you did just that, and lives will be impacted. I can't wait to put this all together and share it out on all the social media outlets so that people get to hear that story. So thank you, Brian. You get
Thank you.
snaps. Snaps. Amazing. All right, now how's it feel to go first and now be done?
Whew, I'm chilling now.
All right. All right. Oh, and who wants to step in? Let me take Brian off of the spot. All right. And let's go on over
I think I'm supposed to go
to
next.
Ming. Let me spotlight you for everyone. I'm super excited about
Oh,
this.
goodness.
Ming, who came in not knowing what she was walking into and found something really amazing. So, Ming, it's all yours. The floor is yours.
Oh, I was hanging on a rock, and like when I looked down, I was about 1,000 feet from the ground. I couldn't believe where I was. And when I looked around, I could smell the wildflowers. The sun was on my face and the wind was blowing in my hair. And I could hear the waterfalls just roaring down and cascading down the granite cliffs. I was rock climbing Yosemite, and I couldn't believe that I'm here. This is like, what an experience. And when I looked down, there were all these tourists, but I couldn't hear anything because all I could hear was the sound of nature. And I closed my eyes, and for a moment, I realized it felt like I was at church, and nature was my church. And I couldn't have been here without my rock climbing community and all these beautiful people around me. My name is Ming Shea. I am a nature lover, a rock climber, and I am a community builder. Raise your hand. How many of you belong to a community? And think about your community. How many of you want to deepen the relationships in your community or expand your community? For me, a community is like a garden. A garden can nourish us with food, fruits, vegetables, herbs, and a community can nourish us with relationships, support systems, and resources. And I want to share with you a little bit about my rock climbing community and how it really shaped the way I lived, and it really nurtured my soul, and it really helped me live the best life that I can. So it's really 4 simple steps. The first step is you have to envision what kind of community you want to grow. Just like a garden, it doesn't happen overnight. You have to have a vision. Do I want to have a vegetable garden? Do I want a flower garden? And for me, when I started rock climbing 10 years ago, I didn't really know people that share the same passion. And so I want to meet people. I want to go places. I want to learn new skills. And I really want to find a community that I can grow with and I feel safe and people can mentor me. So I joined a climbing club in California. And I remember my first trip to Yosemite. I didn't know anybody. I went by myself and I showed up at the campsite. Before I even walked in, I just heard this laugh. And it's one of those laughters that just warms your soul. And you felt like you know this person your whole life. And through the woods, this woman, she's maybe a little bit over 5 feet tall, short brown hair. And she had this big smile on her face and gave me a hug. She knew exactly who I was. And she welcomed me into the community. And I never felt instantly belonged in a place. The next step is prepare the soil, and you have to plant seeds, but not just plant the seeds, you have to plant the seeds with intention. In a garden, you have to know what plants work well with each other. For example, tomatoes and basil, corn and beans, some relationships really thrive off of each other. And when you plant these seeds, they grow together really well. So for me, I was able to find people that share the same passion. I was able to find mentors that helped me. I found people that wanted to advance the skills together. And we shared the same climbing goals. We had the same enthusiasm to go to all these wild places. And together we were able to grow relationships through climbing, and we became lifelong friends. And after you've planted the seeds, it's time to water. And not just water, but you have to water them, nurture them, fertilize them with a lot of generosity. And Trish was an example of generosity. She gave her time. She gave so many things out to the world. She shared her passion for rock climbing with so many people, not just with our climbing club, but Trish also organized climbers with disabilities. She organized climbing for deaf community as well as the visually impaired. Trish took all of us under her wings and led us on our very first climb in Yosemite. And she shared her friendship, her humor, and just her sense of adventure. And every time you're with Trish, you realize, wow, like you just grow so much, and it's such an amazing journey. And because of her example, I started to do the same thing. I started to organize climbing trips around the world. And I started to bring new people into the club, make them feel belonged, help them learn new skills, and I wanted to pass this on to other people. So once you've envisioned a community, you planted the seeds with intention, you started to water them and fertilize them, everything will start to grow. But when things start to grow, other things like weeds and insects will start to show up naturally. And in climbing, this community is so special to me because when we're out in the mountains, we experience a full life in a very short amount of time. So in 2 days, you experience a sense of adventure, and then you have fear of the unknown. You have self-doubt about your ability. There's danger, there's uncertainty, there's risk. There's so much experience, and it creates a lot of conflicts between people. And Trish showed me that by proactively reading out all these problems, by proactively communicating with each other about what I feel safe with, how can I make you feel more comfortable? And really to get rid of all these conflicts, we're able to experience an amazing, amazing journey together. And on the other side, on the top of the mountain is just pure joy. And and happiness. And in the summer of 2019, Trish passed away. And her family wanted us to spread her ashes in Yosemite. So we organized a climbing trip together, and over 70 people from her life came to Yosemite National Park. I think on that trip, that's when I truly experienced the strength of this community. And before, I just thought it was fun. I was meeting friends, we're going to places. But when we grieved together and during that phase, I truly realized this community is so strong and deeply rooted to the earth. As I got to know each and every one of them, there were teachers from Trish's community. She was a school teacher at Modesto, California. There were her students came, lots of fifth graders from her class. And there were also people just from all walks of life. I learned that Trish, she used to be an architect. I had no idea. I just knew her in her climbing life, but she was an architect and she gave away that life to live a very simple life as a teacher and be more connected with nature. She also did a lot of volunteering outside of just climbing. When the wildfire devastated Paradise, California, she was the first to jump in to volunteer, to just organize people and help the community. And that day when we all held hands and said a prayer and spread her ashes, suddenly I realized that all of these are Trisha's gardens. She's envisioned all of these gardens in her life and planted each of all of us, were all of her seeds. And she watered us and nurtured us with her generosity. And she got rid of the problems so that we can all collaborate and help each other and support each other today. In that moment, I realized that all these gardens are interconnected, like one ecosystem. And even though Trish is not with us anymore, she left us with a gift. It's the gift of Ubuntu. And it translates to, I am because we are. Archbishop Desmond Tutu described this as, it is to say my humanity is bound up, is inextricably caught up in yours. We belong in a bundle of life. We say a person is a person through other persons. It's not I think, therefore I am. It says rather, I'm human because I belong, I share, and I participate. And I want to pass this gift to you. And I want to encourage you to start to think about, what will you grow in your garden? Thank you. And before I end, I would like to dedicate this speech to my good friend, Patricia Stoops. Give me a minute to share my screen. No, wait. Sorry, technical issues. I need to share screen first. Screen 2. And I wanted to, did it work? Oh, there we go. And this is my good friend, Trish. And I wish all of you, and I hope that you were able to experience her presence today. Thank you.
Wow. This is the first time we get to see Trish. I feel like I know her so well after hearing this beautiful story and the powerful message. Now, during this journey, I have come together with another group, the nonprofit organization that I have, Extreme Teen Leaders, which in itself is a community that I've planted, I envisioned, I planted the seeds, I watered it, and it is growing and flourishing. And student leaders between the ages of 13 and 18 all over have have gone together and created an incredible experience and are now supporting each other and being a space of joy and generosity, just as Trish has. And the tuition from this course actually supports that community as well. And coming up in the next couple of months, we're going to be launching a new organization called Global Kinship. And with that organization, yet another garden, our garden is growing. And so in that garden, we're growing, we're growing personal development trainings for adults, for teens, and for families. And we're launching that in Florida this year. And so your words have me emotional as I think about the gardens that I'm growing in my life, and all of you out there thinking about the communities that you serve, that you're a part of, and the ones that are in your heart and in your mind that you haven't yet taken action to create and envision and plant those seeds. And like Ming, I encourage you to plant those seeds and grow your gardens, because we need more gardens in this world where people can assemble and create love and joy and generosity for one another. And so thank you, Ming, for sharing your powerful story. It is beautiful and my heart is full. So thank you so much.
Well, thank you for listening. And I am so touched by the work that you're doing, Tamara. That is so incredible. I wish she was here because I would totally join. I can't wait to hear more about it. I am so excited.
Absolutely. Yes, it's called Global Kinship. It's the Global Kinship Center. That's our vision, global kinship, creating connection, one family at a time, one individual at a time, and one student at a time. Awesome. Thank you so much. Now, what is your experience in this moment? I'm going to ask all of you that question.
Yeah, let me wipe some things off my face. Um, how do I feel? Honestly, I'm so glad I'm here because there's always this moment where you're like, oh, I don't feel ready. I'll do it next week. I'll do it next week. And I think I did message everybody and I said, I'm just having a hard time managing my energy. I just don't feel like my head is in the right space because I've been so busy with work and I feel like every day I'm just a bit frantic and I don't like that energy. But I think today, just hearing all of you, I'm just so glad I showed up because I actually wasn't practicing every day the past 2 weeks because I've just been so busy. But I think when I started talking, it is just, I think there was a lot of meaning. And I think if I just listen to myself and what I'm trying to say, I know my story. I didn't need to memorize. I think that's one of the most important lessons I learned is I didn't need to memorize my script.
Yes.
And
Yes.
now I feel like an incredibly sense of calm. Like it's weird.
Yes. Yes. You know, the interesting thing is, as speakers, there are going to be moments in your life when things are going so south and life is lifing on you. But you have an engagement that you have to show up for in the midst of all of that. And so I hope today that you learned that no matter what's going on in your life, that you can always take a moment and share your story, because it is unscripted. It is your story. You live it. You've lived it. You know what Trish has meant to you. And so amazing. And thank you, LaRon, for opening us up in prayer so that you can create that space for us to just step into it and be our authentic selves and share our hearts. And Ming, that's what you did today. So thank you for showing up and for sharing your heart and for spreading joy and generosity. Your intention, as Paul would say, so it is.
Thank you. I'm so glad I'm here.
Awesome. Awesome. All right. Now get your tissues. Go ahead and, dry your eyes as we prepare for our next speaker. Ooh, LaRon, I'm going to have you go next. Oh, boy. Ooh, got you spotlighted. I know you're ready. You were born that way. You were ready when I met you, and I know now you're going to light up the stage. No pressure.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Have you ever had a confident crushing experience? Raise your hand. Okay. Hi, my name is LaRon Barnes, and I am a motivational speaker, life coach, and a personal development coach. And I've helped countless people overcome their doubts, fears, and limiting beliefs to step into their superpower. You may be asking, superpower, what are you talking about? I'm talking about a superpower will take you all over the world, put you in rooms with extremely influential people, and even set you at the top of the class, your class. The superpower I'm talking about is confidence. Confidence is a superpower. And one of the most confident men I have ever heard speak was a boxer. I mean, this boxer was so confident in himself that he once said, I talk like this because I can back it up. I can whoop any man in the world and I want everyone to know it. I am the greatest. This boxer's name was Muhammad Ali. Muhammad Ali wasn't the greatest because he had a perfect record. No. But Muhammad Ali was the greatest because he can back it up. And I remember Muhammad Ali showed me what it meant to be confident. He really inspired me. He really helped me to become ultimately as confident as I am today. And I am extremely confident. I believe that anything I put my mind to, I can truly do. But I didn't always feel that way. I remember in the second grade, my teacher, Miss Smith, said to me something that changed my life forever. I remember coming to class, sitting down in my chair. She stood over me, pointing and said, LaRon, you're stupid. Are you ADHD? It crushed me. I was devastated. I felt dumb. And I don't know about you, but have you ever felt dumb? Have you ever felt inadequate? Have you ever felt not good enough? Well, in that moment, that's exactly how I felt. And I remember going home, walking past my mother and father, going to my room, shutting the door behind me, sitting on my bed with my head down, crying. And I remember saying, God, I don't want to be like this. I don't want to be stupid. I don't want to be dumb. In middle school, it didn't get no better. Because in middle school is when I first experienced rejection. Have you ever experienced rejection? Yeah, it don't feel good. It hurts. It's painful. I remember one day we had a field trip and I really liked this girl and I was extremely shy to tell her. So I told my friend Eddie, I said, hey, Eddie, listen, when we get back from this field trip, I want you to give this gift that I bought this girl I really like to her. I want you to give it to her. Would you do that for me, bro? He said, yeah, I got you, LaRon, bro. I got you. And so we get to the field trip. We're at Worlds of Fun, which is an amusement park. And we step off from the rest of the class. We go inside of a place where they sell a lot of merchandise and items. And We were searching through the different things to see what I was really going to get her. And I couldn't find anything. And right when I was about to leave, I turned to my left, I looked up, and there it was. In royal blue, bedazzling letters, her name, Brittany. I said, I got to get this for her. So I'm so excited about it. We get back to the school, and it's about time for everyone to leave and get on the bus. And he said he would give it to her for me. But I was looking for him, and I couldn't find him. Couldn't find him. And I said, well, maybe he didn't find her. Maybe he didn't give it to her. And as I'm getting on the bus, I hear somebody in the background say, she threw it away. What? LeBron, she threw it away. It crushed me. Rejection. Have you ever felt rejection before? Maybe it's by your mother. Maybe it's by your father. Maybe it's by someone you really trusted, someone you really admired. All of us, I think, at some point in life experienced that. Rejection. I was crushed. And in high school, well, high school is where it got a little more interesting. Because in high school is when I discovered I had a calling on my life. I was different. I learned that I wasn't supposed to be like everybody else. And can I tell you something? You're not supposed to be like everybody else. You were meant to stand out, not to fit in. But before then, I didn't know it. And I remember one particular time where there was a party going on. And I remember the kids was talking about it after school, saying, hey, this party going to be lit. We're going to be having fun. We're going to be kicking it. And I'm like, hey, man, look, I got to get a part of this. Nobody invited me. I'm going to find somebody who's going. I'm going to go with them. And so I show up at this party. And outside of the door, you can hear the music bumping. Boom, 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 boom. I'm like, hey, about to get in here, show my skills. Did not go that way. So I get up to the driveway, I park my car, get out the car, walk towards the door. You can hear the music bumping. You can hear the people dancing, having a good time. As I'm let in, I walk through the door. I'm looking around, nodding my head. People dancing, music bumping, everybody having a good time. But then I pause for a moment because I get this unsettling feeling on the inside. And I say to myself, I'm not supposed to be here. So I left. That day was the day I decided that I would never try to fit in again. That day I decided that when something's uncomfortable for me, when something doesn't feel right, when something's not me being my authentic self, when it takes away from me being my authentic self, I won't be a part of it. I'll be comfortable being me. Now, I got to be honest with you all. Just when I decided that day that I would be my authentic self, would be me, I still didn't have the confidence. It wasn't until later when I heard an interview with Muhammad Ali, and the reporter said, "Whoa, Muhammad, what makes you so confident that you're gonna win this fight? What makes you so confident that you would talk like this?" And Muhammad Ali said, "I talk like this because I can back it up. I can whoop any man in the world, and I want everyone to know it. I am the greatest." Muhammad Ali showed me 3 powerful lessons. It was 3 powerful things that I took from this man. Because this man exuberated confidence. His very presence was confident. This man showed me a lot. And I want to give you the 3 things that he gave me when it comes to gaining confidence in yourself so you can achieve success, so you can achieve greatness, so you can live the life ultimately that you desire. Because I truly believe each and every last one of us, we're here to live out our purpose. But the enemy of purpose is doubt, fear, limiting beliefs, things that keep you from taking action to pursue your dreams and goals. And number one, what Muhammad Ali said, he said, I talk like this because I can back it up. You got to say it. He said, I'm the greatest in the world, and I want everyone to know it. Number one, you got to say it. You got to declare it. My favorite book says, speak those things that are not as though they were. Muhammad Ali said, I am the greatest. You have to affirm yourself. What have you told yourself lately? What positive have you told yourself lately? What affirmation have you given yourself lately? What positive affirmation have you given yourself lately? At one point in time, I would never tell myself that I'm amazing, but I believe it now. I'm amazing. And I want to tell you that you're amazing. But before anybody else knows how amazing you are, you got to say it. You got to speak those things that are not as though they were. I had to build myself up with feeling rejected, with feeling inadequate, with feeling stupid. I would tell myself, I'm stupid, I'm dumb, I can't learn, I don't get this. And by using those words, by using that language, it kept me from even taking action. I wasn't confident in myself because I wasn't saying things to myself that inspired myself, that motivated myself, that encouraged myself, that gave me the confidence that I need. So if you want to gain the confidence in order to achieve your greatness, to achieve success, to win in this thing called life, you got to declare it. I am the greatest. I am amazing. I am awesome. I can do all things which are in the works, which are in the direction, which are in the path of my greatness. Number two, after you declare it, he taught me, you got to believe it. And to believe is to be emotionally excited about something you say you will have. Let me let that sink in. Muhammad Ali said, the greatest, I said that before I ever knew I was. And to believe is to be emotionally excited about something you say you will have. You don't have to have it yet. You just have to say it until it manifests in your life. In order for belief to kick in, you have to speak those things. You have to say positive affirmations. But the belief is an emotional feeling of excitement on the inside that what you say you will have, you will have. You know what I told myself? I told myself that I'm a powerful speaker. I'm an impactful speaker. I'm a transformational speaker. You know what I told myself one day when I discovered that I was a Hall of Fame speaker? I'm just in the transition for everybody else to see what I said is true. You know what I said to myself on this journey to become a Hall of Fame speaker, a world-renowned speaker, a speaker that I'm walking into right now? I said on this journey, I was going to meet Les Brown and speak on the same stage as him. Now, for many of you who don't know who Les Brown is, he's a Hall of Fame speaker. I mean, he's phenomenal. Check him out if you haven't heard of him. But I said that I was going to speak on the same platform as him. And I believed it. I seen it in my mind's eye. I visualized it. I seen myself standing on the stage. And guess what? It came to fruition. What you see in your mind's eye is actually a reality that you're soon to live in. But before you live in that reality of your belief, you have to say it. You have to emotionally feel it by feeling emotionally, getting excited about it on the inside. And then the last but not least, you got to be able to back it up. Muhammad Ali said, I am the greatest. I can whoop any man in the world, and I want everyone to know it. He said, I am the greatest. I can whoop any man in the world, and I want everyone to know it. What does that mean? That means he had the confidence to know that he had it. He knew that he was the greatest in the world. He knew that he could back it up. Muhammad Ali was so confident in himself that he would predict the boxing match that he was going to knock his opponent out with. And he was able to back it up. So how do you back it up? How do you back up what you say you believe? Well, this is one of the most powerful tools that I want to give to you. Practice. We've all heard of the saying that practice makes better. I disagree. No, excuse me. Practice makes perfect. I disagree. Practice makes better. It's about getting better and better and better every day. Practice makes you confident because practice keeps you from having to overthink. And a lot of times we are overthinking ourselves out of things. We're overthinking ourselves out of our goals, out of our dreams, out of the things that we want to pursue in life because we don't have the confidence that we need. We don't practice. Makes it easy. Complaining makes it hard. Excuses make it hard. Negative self-talks make it hard. So if you want to gain the confidence to travel all over the world, to be connected to some of the most powerful people in the world, to be set in some of the most influential rooms and be at the top of your class, number one, you got to say it. You got to declare it. Speak those things that are not as though they were. Number two, you have to believe it. You have to feel it emotionally on the inside. You have to know on the inside, see on the inside, on your mind's eyes, that what you say you want is going to happen. And then last but not least, you got to back it up. And the only way you'll be able to back it up is by you practicing, because practice makes better. Practice makes improvement. Practice makes you confident because you are confident or you are excited and confident about your abilities. You trust. Let me say it another way. You trust in your abilities. And trust, confidence comes from trusting in you. My name is Ron Barnes. Thank you for your time. And I cannot wait to see you at the top. Because the bottom is way too crowded.
Awesome. All right, all right, all right. That is so powerful, LaRon. Muhammad Ali, you are right. You are so right. That was one confident man.
Yes.
And he declared it to the world. I am the greatest. I love making declarations. That's one of the things I love doing. And I'm going to share with you a quick story. When I started coaching at AWS, one of the things that I declared was to coach the leader of our organization. And I said it to myself. I said it in my office. And last month, actually this month, I had the opportunity to do just that. And it was a phenomenal experience.
Wow.
Seeing the coaching that I was able to provide, and then also seeing the results of that coaching live. I was able to be there as that leader stepped onto the stage and delivered the keynote. It was a powerful moment for me. And when I think back to when I said it, I stood there in disbelief, but knowing knowing the power of declaration, I just allowed myself to bask in that moment. Like, did that just happen? Yes, it did. You knew it was going to happen. Because why? Because you declared it. And not just that, you actually believed it.
Yes.
And not just that, which is why I love number 3. I have done the work. I have practiced and practiced. And my mentor, Betty Spruill, says, practice until you become the practice. And that is what I feel like I've reached. I've reached the point where I am the practice. And now I can share that with so many other people and create speakers that are greater than myself. And you all are showing up so powerfully. And that is such an amazing message. So thank you, LaRon. From the
Thank
moment
you.
that our paths crossed and the spirit said to me, call up LaRon right now and tell him that you want to work with him on that voice.
Yeah.
I did, and you were open to receive it, and here we are today. Now
Wow.
I didn't see that part. Like I didn't see this part. I didn't see this part. So
Yes.
that was the
Wow.
icing on the cake. This is the icing on the cake. So thank you, LaRon, for trusting in me and coming into this space and really putting in the work.
Thank
You
you.
live what you say. As a speaker, one of the things that you want to do is you want to walk the talk, live what you say, because you can't go out here and tell people to do something that you're not doing yourself. It doesn't work that way. And that is why you're so impactful, is because you put the work in. You are committed to this thing, and the results are going to continue to come, and they're going to get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And you will be on that stage standing beside your mentor again and again and again. Matter of fact, he's going to be calling you to get on your stage.
I love it, Tam.
That's
I
what I'm
love
declaring.
it.
I'm declaring that he's going to call
Yes.
you to get on your stage because you're going to create the buzz and he's going to hear about this speaker called LaRon Barnes that was in his Hungry to Speak program.
I receive that, and that is an expectation.
Indeed. And as Paul would say, and so it is.
And so it is.
Yes, come on, Paul. Let's go. Let's go. Come on, Paul. We're going to close this out today. Oh, this has been such a joy so far. And I can't wait. Oh my, all of you are closers. Like every last one of you are closers. So let's give the floor. I'm gonna take you off spotlight, LaRon. Woo, man.
Get my
All
little dance.
right. There we go.
Blessings, blessings, blessings. July 2012. My hands are clutched to my steering wheel. I see police lights flashing in my rearview mirror, and thoughts are running through my head. My life is about to shift in a lot of ways. I think it's fair to note, a couple hours prior to this incident, I was at a wedding having some drinky drinks, and I went way overboard. And during that point in my life, that's what I did. When I was going through a difficult time in life, which I was then, I was going through separation. I was uncertain about a lot of things in my life. I was uncertain that who am I? I don't even know who I am right now. Things feel uncomfortable. I don't even feel like I belong. So rather than talk to other people or get some support, I cozied up with some of my best buddies, Heineken, Maker's Mark, among some other vices. And when I was consuming and taking in those different vices, I was taking them in most of the time to meet my fate or to meet death, because I wanted something different from how I was living and I didn't understand how to get there. So that night I went overboard and I made a poor decision. I decided to drive home. And here I am, hands clutching the wheel, police officers walking up to my car. And in my mind, I know I've met my fate and things are about to shift. And they did that night. The officer let me go, though. Fortunately, because I was close to my house. Yet, everything in my life shifted. Relationship, career, how I viewed myself, all these things shifted. And it was all necessary because that brought me to the next phase of who I'm supposed to be. And I needed that shift. I needed that spark because events began to cascade to bring me to my authentic self. My name is Paul Newell, and I am a shift starter. I support men in dropping their masks and stepping into an arena of self-awareness to help them claim a life that's fulfilling and authentic to them. And I'm able to do that because this is my journey too. As I mentioned, I had lived most of my life under someone else's rules. I'm a recovering people pleaser, so I've always done whatever I could to make everyone happy, and I failed to know why. Now, going through this and going through all the personal development books, like, listen, if you had a personal development book, or chances are I read it, workshop, I'll tell you what, most likely I attended it. But the thing was, is that every one of these things that I took, I would just regurgitate and say whatever they wanted me to say or whatever I heard, and I failed to integrate it. So I would end up at the same space. Then something happened. I realized I'm like, okay, I'm looking at everyone else to find my way, and I'm failing to look inside of myself. So I knew it was time to go inside, heal myself, tap into who I truly am. And what I'm going to share with you are 4 methods. And I call these methods because at the base of the word method is this Greek word methodos. And that means it's a pursuit of knowledge. And the 4 methods I'm going to share with you are key for you if you want to know yourself. Now, disclaimer, some of these may be uncomfortable. And I'm telling you, they will be worth it. So let's dive into these 4 methods. The first one is drop your mask. Now, as I said, I'm a recovering people pleaser, so I have an assortment of masks that I've worn over my lifetime. I mean, depending on the situation, who I'm talking to, what game is playing, I had a mask for almost every condition because I wanted to be accepted. I wanted people to like me. I wanted to avoid conflict. And also, I wanted to connect with different people, to be free of feeling alone. Here's the thing though, people, when we start to drop the mask, it's about what everyone talks about, this vulnerability. Yes, it's about that. And it's about knowing, where do I feel comfortable to be vulnerable? One of the things I recognized that when I was wearing my mask, especially in the color that I'm in this world, I found myself wanting to mold to different things. A lot of times, like if I were in a crowd of people that look like me, I wasn't black enough. And if I was in a crowd of people that were white or that didn't look like me, I could be a threat. I could be a threat. So I would adjust myself in a lot of different ways. The reason I have this as a method is because majority of people are wearing masks. We cover up who we are to appease someone else. And most of the time it's a condition. It's something that we simply do. But the thing with dropping the mask and really being able to open up into that space, I can get to reveal what's real for me. Because when I keep the mask on, what I found is, I started to deteriorate inside. And then it got to the point where I was taking off these masks and I was like, wait a second, who am I? So once I got to that point, who am I, where I was able to take the mask off and find that space to share, I knew, I said, okay, there's some stories I got inside of myself. It's time for me to address. And that's when I stepped into the arena. That's method number 2. When I thought about this concept and I was looking at the arena, I knew the arena was a space for entertainment or for battle historically. So when I say stepping into the arena, what it was for me was, it was time for me to step to those parts of myself that had me thinking I had to cover, I had to mask up. So the interesting thing that I found is as I was battling myself, I noticed that that part of myself that had these stories, these beliefs, and Carl Jung had this concept. He calls it the shadow. Those parts of myself that I hide, repress, and deny. So you may have some. I know for me, it's anger. You know, it's the vengefulness, the sadness that I wouldn't want anyone to know. I keep the happy face on. Yet when I was in the arena, that part of myself would bash me with those stories. You're not good enough. They'll never like you like who you are. And it got to the point where I was deflecting these stories. I started to get weak and I started to want to fight back. In the arena, the lesson for me, though, was rather than fight back, I open up my arms. I open up my arms to those parts of myself that feel unworthy. I open up myself to the parts of myself that think I'm not good enough, that thinks that someone's going to run as soon as I let myself go. And the interesting thing I noticed is that when I started walking towards those parts of myself with my arms open, those parts of myself began to shed the armor, lay down the weapons. And the magical thing was that as those parts of myself laid down the armor, there was a little version of myself right there. This little Paulie with the chubby cheeks. You know, I had to pick it up. I had to pick myself up. I had to check in with myself. What's going on? What led you to this? What's the pains? And when I got to connect with that younger version of myself, I saw that it was wounded. I saw that I was wounded. And this led me to the third method, which is laying down my wounds. When I got to this space of tapping into that younger version of myself and my hurts and pains, I found out that one of the core wounds for me was that they will always leave. And it showed up in a lot of ways. It showed up in my career. I was like, I'm not staying here long enough that they'll get to know me. I'm out of here. They're going to fire me anyway. Relationship. This girl won't love me for that long. As soon as she finds out that I like the Knicks, she's out of here. I'd find any excuse possible to think that someone was going to leave. And when I started to embrace this and look and dive into those wounds, I realized that those wounds were infecting how I was perceiving my life, how I was experiencing it. And the interesting thing was, it was at the time when I was exploring this, I was having really bad hip pains. For some of you that can remember, there was a show, Sanford and Son. There was this guy, Fred Sanford, and he would walk like this. And that's what I was walking like. I was 44 years old and I was walking with a cane. And I was walking like I was 90. When I finally went to the surgeon, he said, I don't know how the heck you have the hips of a 90-year-old Olympian. I said, how did that happen? He said, it must have been some trauma from birth. So me and my inquisitive self, I dug deep. And I came to find that my mom, when she gave birth to me, she was in a later stage. She was 35. At that time, that was older to have a baby. And she had hypertension. So her even being pregnant was a risk. And by the way, she had a stillborn before I was born. So I'm what they call a rainbow baby or something like that. So that made her pregnancy with me even more treacherous. So they had to pull me out of her so that I could live and so could she. Now, the thing where this wound started was there was a belief within me that thought that my mom would leave. But when I got to go back and lay down this wound, I come to find out that my mom was in the hospital. She couldn't take care of me. So I was in this space as an adult. I was able to go back, lay down that wound, allow that younger version of myself to know that I'm always loved, that I'm always cared for, that I'm always secure and safe. And that helped me to start to change my environment. And a lot of the pains and disease that I was experiencing began to lift. Now, here's the thing, though. I got petrified and I wanted to go back to those old behaviors because I was like, I have no idea who I am without this wound. Who am I without this anger? Who am I without this sadness? And it really felt like there were wires in my brain and in my nerves and in my energy that were frayed, that were like, where do we go? So I had to dive into the fourth method, which was rewiring myself. And this was like a blank canvas. And this was actually an extension for me to actually physically experience it. This was an extension of that hip concern I was just telling you about. I went through a surgery and got both of my hips replaced. So I'm a cyborg. I got parts. The wild thing was, is as I was rewiring myself and learning to see things a different way, I even learned that me walking and how I was experiencing and the pain that I was experiencing prior to this was adjusting how I was experiencing the world as well. So even learning to walk again, activating muscles, the nuances and inclines around my house, and even just in the ground, the contours, the bumps, everything I was feeling. And that helped me to see and understand that in each moment, there is something new that I can create for my life, for the people around me, for the people that I care about. And this is the power of the rewire, because we can be creators. We can step beyond our limitations and we can create something that is aligned for us. And all those places that we refuse to go, I know that I refused to go, there were gems in there. There were things in my experiences that helped sharpen my spirit, that helped build my resolve. And every time I think about it, I think about this poem Invictus. And it helps bring to life these experiences that I've had. And I want to share it with you because I think it will resonate if you experience some hardship in your life. And it goes like this. Out of the night that covers me, black as a pit from pole to pole, I thank whatever gods may be for my unconquerable soul. In the fell clutch of circumstance, I have not winced or cried aloud. And under the bludgeonings of chance, my head is bloody, but it's unbowed. Beyond this place of wrath and tears looms but the horror of the shade. And yet the menace of the years finds and shall find me unafraid. It matters not how straight the gate or how charged with punishments the scroll. I am the master of my fate, and I'm the captain of my soul. This poem gets me fueled up because it helps me remember whatever I've experienced, it shapes me, it builds me. Things fail to happen to me, they happen for me. And my invitation to you is, even if it's one method, I encourage you, I support you to step into your life of fulfillment and authenticity. It's been waiting for you. And when you step into it, the whole collective benefits, the whole collective. So my people, step in, be the master of your fate and the captain of your soul. Thank you.
Wow. I don't even know where to go from there. Like I feel like I'm at the bottom of the ocean trying to swim up because that was so deep.
What? Oh, wow, that's some
I'm
feedback.
trying to like get back up to the top so I get some air.
Ooh, man. Bless up, man.
Wow. Paul, we've known each other for some time, and I have to admit I've stalked you on social media. I've watched your sharings on Instagram, and I've always been just so moved by your passion and your desire to help men. And even as a woman, your messages resound for me too. I love the methods that you shared with this audience. I so believe in dropping the mask and stepping into yourself, stepping into the arena. That just sounds scary. I think of like the lions coming out of the other side, or like this
Oh,
huge giant. Like when I watched these ancient movies, these movies from back in the day when the Romans were in the arena and they would
Mhm.
throw all of these dangerous things coming out at you. And
Yeah.
I could see those things coming at me, and it just felt scary.
Mm.
But those are the aspects of ourselves. And I love the imagery that you share with us when you opened up and we begin to accept the parts of us, the dark sides of who we are. What we realize is behind that armor, when we bring our light and shine it into that darkness, what we see is the younger, wounded version of ourselves. Man, that's so deep. Hold on, I just hold on. You walked your chest. Hold on a minute. Hold on. I need a minute. I need a minute. You see the younger version of yourself, man, and then you begin to do that work and lay down those wounds. Such a powerful message. Such a powerful message. You are called on this earth, Paul, to call people out of that darkness. Like, you are the light that will call people out of the darkness. You are the mirror that will be held up to people so that they can see themselves in you and do their work and become the person that they have been called to become and walk in their authenticity. Thank you so much.
Thank you for your words, sis. Thank you for your
Whew, this has been powerful. I mean, I knew it was going to be good, but man, everybody else is going to be upset that they missed this when they see the
Hey, look,
video.
gotta be in it. Hey, Tamara, this is you.
Ooh,
You poured into us.
phew. Wow. Hold on a second.
Yeah.
Let me
Let
take
this
that in.
fill
Let me
you.
just take that in for a moment. Oftentimes I don't. I skip over this, but I really I
Yes.
receive that.
We are the fruits of your labor.
I receive that. You'll
We
make me
are we
cry.
are the results of your
Wow.
passion. We are the results of your I mean your drive and your purpose. You said that you had a purpose of building those who can speak like you, and this is what you've created.
Thank you, sis.
Wow.
And I can speak for all of us to say we are eternally grateful for you pouring into us, you know, and
Ooh.
they're just eternally grateful. And if you think about it, just think about this for a second. These are everybody here. We have had some kind of relationship with you before we started this.
Yep. Yep.
Everybody that's here.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you selected us basically. You put it out there, and your energy selected us, and we are just honored
Man.
to be representatives of your gift.
Wow. Wow. I tell you what, this is what I believe. Yeah. This is what I believe it, LaRon. I
Emotional.
believe it and I can back it up.
Come on. Your backing it up is in the results that you
Yeah,
produce.
exactly.
The backing it up is in the results that you produce. You can't
Yeah.
produce what you don't have,
Yep.
and you definitely have it.
I tell you what, I am so grateful. I am grateful, Paul, that I've stepped into the arena, that I've done my work so that I can be the energy, the person that attracts incredible human beings like you all. I am so grateful that I understand the formula, that I know how to plant gardens, Ming. I know how to plant seeds and water
Mhm.
and create communities where people can come together that have something in common and can share. because I've watched each of you grow together, and even looking at the relationships that have developed among you. It is such a joy to watch it and be a part of it and to continue it, because this is our community. This is yet another community, Ming, that you've stepped into and become a contributing part of. And in doing so, you've inspired everyone else to do the same, to show up time and time again and to do the work. And I'm just super proud of all of you. Amazing work. I just want to like,
We gotta do this again in person, Sarah. One day.
Oh, for sure.
exactly. Oh my
Need
gosh.
a real like group hug or something.
Yes, we
Virtual hug.
definitely need to plan that. We need to definitely plan an in person so that we can all come together and share with each other and do it somewhere where we can bless other people. And I
Mhm.
think one of the things that I want to invite you to is I normally have a final session in technically speaking. And that final session, I want to invite you all to come and to speak to and share your stories with your keynote with this next cohort. Because let me tell you, they coming for y'all. They are coming for y'all.
Let's
This
go.
next
Let's
cohort,
go.
let me tell you, there's some speakers in there that, oh man, y'all are going to love them. And like I'm sitting, like there's one in particular, like I want to be her best friend. Like literally, she's so awesome. She's got the Ayanla Van Zant feel to her. Like it is incredible. And so many other powerful stories. Oh man, just powerful people with powerful stories that when you meet them, the same way you feel about one another, like you're just gonna pull them right in. Pull them right in. So thank you. It's been an amazing day. To those of you out there in Streamland, I want to thank you for taking the time to be with us today, to hear these stories. This is something that has been a vision of mine since I entered into my mentor Les Brown's circle. And I decided after working with him that I wanted to carry his vision forward. So I am standing on the shoulders of some of the greatest speakers in the world, and I am carrying that torch forward. That was his request, that he gave so much to us, and I feel it is my responsibility, not in a heavy the have to way, but I feel that it is my responsibility as in I am choosing it. I am choosing it, that I get to carry this forward. So thank you all for being a part of this journey. And I can't wait till the next one that we do.
More.
Enjoy your weekend, everyone, wherever it is for you, wherever you're watching from. And those of you that got a chance to share today, what are your last words? What last words do you want to leave with this audience that they can take away? What do you want to leave with them? We'll go one by one. We'll start off with Paul and work backwards.
Speak life, speak life. That's my word. Speak life into yourself, speak life into others, and so it is, and so it is, and so it is. I'm out.
All right, LaRon.
I love that, Paul. I got to second that. Speak life into yourself. Be confident. Know that you are worthy. Know you are worth it. Know that, listen, if you were given a vision, you were also given the necessary equipment to fulfill that vision. So, whatever you see in your life, whatever you desire, whatever you want, the reason why you were given the vision is because you were meant to fulfill it. So, go after it.
Indeed. Ming.
Oh my God, so much to say. I think if I can sum it up with one word, it's just presence. all of your presence it's enough. It's you don't need to be anybody else, just yourself.
Mm.
And
Love
being
that.
your presence is the most powerful thing. And people will appreciate your presence, and you don't have to do anything else for other people.
Love that. Love that. Thank you, Ming. And Brian.
Everybody on this stream here has achieved a level of success that started with an idea or a feeling and the first step. The hardest part of your journey is going to be the first step. After that first step, your purpose and your passion will drive you from there. We all did it. And if we all did it, you all can do it too.
Indeed. Indeed. Well, there you have it. And once again, I go back to Paul's saying, and so
And
it is.
so it is.
That part.
Buddy.
All right. I love each and every one of you. And I just want you to know that I love you, I honor you, and each of you have my heart. Have an amazing rest of your day, your morning, your evening, whatever time it is for you. And we'll catch you on the next one. Remember, speak life.